Not sure how long this video is going to be, but it's been on my mind to make it. And I want it to just be one cut. I'll overlap images of gameplay and things like that, maybe to get my point across. But I really just want to talk about gaming in your 30s. I'm 35 and I'm a dad, I'm a husband, I'm a youth pastor, I'm a brother, I'm a son, I'm so many things. And and I enjoy gaming. I enjoy playing video games. I know I'm not the only one like that, and there's plenty of other people on this planet who share that sentiment. But recently, I've been reminiscing or just from time to time just thinking about how developers and things like that are tapping into nostalgia, rebooting games, remastering games to capture that audience who played it in the past, but they want to play the same game but just with a better visuals, maybe slightly new mechanics. Dynasty Warriors 3, one of my favorite games, maybe you share this. It's coming out with a remaster and around October, and I'm super stoked for that game. That game looks incredible. It's probably my favorite game of all time. And what's interesting is that that is not the perfect game. And what's really interesting is that when I played it back in the day, I didn't care. I was probably 13, 14 years old, younger than that. That was a straight 7.58 game. And I wasted countless hours playing offline. Sorry if I sound like I have a lisp, it's because my gums are swollen. But I played that game for countless hours over and over again. It wasn't online, didn't have an incredible story. I love the history aspect of it, and it was just an awesome game. And I find myself doing that today in my 30s, trying to recreate that. And although it's really hard to recreate that feeling you had when in your younger years when you experienced video games because the whole world was different. So I feel like that plays a big part of your experience in the moment, right? Where if every most people are playing offline, Xbox Live was very niche. Everybody was playing Halo online, but that was pretty much it. But in my 30s, I realized that I really value my time. And if my time is in any way, if it feels wasted, it bothers me. Right? If I sit down to play a video game, I want to make sure that my time isn't wasted. And I'm sure some people would think, well, your time is being wasted anyways because you're playing a video game. Well, no, it's not. It's not. Simply sitting down, taking an hour to just relax is sometimes all we have. From the moment I wake up, my daughter's on my hip. My wife works from home. She works from like 7 in the morning to 4:30 p.m. I have to leave for work at 2:30 to get to work for 5:30 to leave for 5 and get home for 5:30 to get home to be with the kids to get them in the bedtime routine. And then I got all these other things I also have to do on top of that: youth pastoring, counseling, setting up messages, all these things. And when everything is said and done, sometimes I just want to sit down and just play a video game. But I don't want to play something that's feels like my time is being wasted. And I feel like back in the day, you could sit down when you're 14 and really you had all the time in the world to be bad and then get good. Whereas I have 1 hour to sit down. If I wanted to do that again, I have 1 hour to sit down and get good. Sometimes in a video game, you need more than an hour to get good. Maybe you're only playing twice a week. Maybe you're only playing 3 times a week. That's the reality for a lot of us guys in our 30s, is that we don't have all that time to allocate to gaming. And if you try to emulate what you did when you were 12 in your 30s, it you'll quickly realize that it's not the same, and it's almost impossible to recreate. I tried to play World of Warcraft recently, and uh, you have retail and then you have classic WoW, and I came to this sad and difficult realization is that you can't have the best of both worlds. When World of Warcraft first came out, it was a renaissance, an amazing game. Everybody and their grandmother was playing it. You know, I wish I had a PC. I couldn't even play it. But when that Burning Crusade came out, I went Black Friday, got myself a Lenovo laptop, waited 6 hours for something that underperformed, and I was able to play WoW for the first time on my own. And man, that was special. And you had to invest hours and hours and hours of time. And when you got to 70, it was the most monumental milestone you could ever have. It was like, yes, I got to level 70. This is awesome. And then the game even began from there after 70. But now, you know, you have retail WoW and you have classic WoW. And in your 30s, you're like, well, I don't have so much time to dedicate. I don't have like 4.5 hours to just play WoW when the kids go to bed, because that means I'm playing video games till 1 in the morning. I can't do that. And then you play retail, and the progression is way more suitable for someone who doesn't have a lot of time. You get a couple levels in an hour, and that's really cool. The progression, it feels good. You get that dopamine, but when you hit max level, you're like, okay, that was all right. The progression, getting to max level, doesn't feel as rewarding. So you're stuck between a rock and a hard place with something like that, where if you play classic, it takes forever and a day to get to max level, and I don't have the time to allocate to such a grind. You play for an hour, you get this much in your level bar. And then if you play retail, you get a couple levels within the hour. It feels great, but then when you get to max level, you're like, all right, well, that was fun, I guess. And it doesn't feel rewarding. So I guess I say all that to say this is that you have to look at things differently when you play games in your 30s. I find that I value sitting on the couch with a controller in my hand more than hunching over on a computer desk in my gaming chair, because I really just want to relax. Does anybody else feel that way? Write in the comments if you feel this way, if you experience life like this. This is for whoever could relate to this. Maybe the younger generation, Gen Z or Gen Alpha, whatever, I don't know. They see things differently. Try to play Call of Duty in my 30s, and you got to get good, or you jump into Warzone, you fly in, you kill one person, you get killed by some sweat, and then you jump back in, win the gulag, or lose the gulag, and then you have to boot up again. You don't have the time to keep losing over and over and over again. If you get 5 kills, that's a good run for someone who's a casual. I played Mortal Kombat 1, and that was a ton of fun. The story was so great. I played online for a little bit. The lag for a couple matches was pretty bad. I just had to call it a day because it was sucking up my time. I guess what I'm saying is that when you play games in your 30s, you have to value your time. Make the most of it. Don't play games that you don't enjoy. Find something that you find interesting. Baldur's Gate 3 is probably one of the best games I ever played. I'd say it's my number 2 favorite game of all time. But that hour could be spent simply by just organizing your inventory. You organize your inventory, that's an hour, and then you're already tired. It's time to go to bed. But the story is so engaging, and it's almost impossible not to put down. Gaming in your 30s is just different, and you just have to recognize that. The past is in the past. You can try to recreate that. You can recultivate that. I know people who have their own setups with Super Nintendos and PlayStations, and they kind of recreate that. But you're definitely in the minority, and you create that for yourself and it's great, but it's not like when everybody was doing it, where it was a whole culture, the entire planet played that way. And I think it's great when people have those things. But I just think that when you're in your 30s, you just have to shift your mindset and just realize that gaming isn't the way that it used to be. Games are a little easier. Games that are hard are literally designed to be hard, whereas before the game just came as it was. And you just have to come to terms that gaming is not how it used to be. Younger generation, this is just how it is. They whatever's in front of them, this is it. Whereas us, we experience a whole different time of gaming where the Lion King for Super Nintendo was the hardest thing on earth. Aladdin was the hardest thing on earth. It wasn't designed to be hard, it was just designed and it was hard. Whereas now they make games like Dark Souls or Elden Ring to be challenging. That's the core nature of the game. And if you sit here trying to wish and say, oh, well, I wish they made games before, listen, patches are here to stay. If you play a fighting game, you're not going to get Super Street Fighter 6, right? Because a different game, you'll just get a patch. And, before they would just make another game. Those times are gone. And I love when companies and developers try to bring back nostalgia. A lot of times it can seem like a cash grab and all that stuff, but you really just have to change your mind and realize that gaming's not as it used to be, and you need to appreciate your time. You need to value your time. If you want to enjoy gaming in your 30s, find games that you like to play within the hour that you have. If a game makes you mad, don't play it. If you want to get good at Call of Duty or something like that, or Battlefield, but it takes an hour to really, it takes multiple games that you just do not have the time to play. Maybe one or two you have time to play. In your mind, you're like, well, I don't have the time to get good. Okay, then play a game where you don't have to get good. I find myself valuing single player games way more than ever because it's just me, the couch, the TV, and a controller in my hand. Value your time, and then gaming will be more enjoyable for you. Play the games within the hour that you like to play. Don't force yourself to play things that just aren't enjoyable to you. The past is in the past. It can stay in the past. You could be a PlayStation 1 collector, and that's great and dandy. But you'll be maybe one of 1,000 people in the United States that has a full collection that you could share that sentiment with. Whereas for me, I don't even have the space in my house to store anything. That's the 30s life, right? My son's on the couch watching Magic School Bus. I can't play. He owns the TV right now. He's only 4. So you have to pick your battles. He doesn't run the house, but you know what I'm saying. If you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. We're going to go up to the pool, and if I have maybe 30 minutes to myself and I'm going to play a game, I'm going to play a game. But I'm also taking 20 minutes to myself to make this. Value your time. Play the games you want to play. Recognize that the past was a beautiful time, but the future has some really promising things too. But whatever you choose to play, make sure it's something that you actually want to play. If you have a group of guys and they all play this game and you feel compelled to play that game, don't force yourself to play it. Who does anybody have those friends that they'll buy a game? I've even been there where we buy a game as a group so that we could play a game as a group and then we play it for 1 week and then we don't play it ever again. Or one guy keeps playing it and then you like the other person just tapers off and goes back to playing a game that they wanted to play. You know how many times I've replayed Final Fantasy X? It's because I like it. Play the games you like. And that's pretty much it. This is Charlie, living the Christian geek life. Have a great day.